Good Sunday morning. Wow, that was quick. That turnover didn't turn over like I thought it was going to. I was ready to start dancing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network, in conjunction with Clear Production Sports. I am the Midnight Rider. He is the big guy KG, and we welcome you in to this Sunday morning rise show where we get to talk about a couple of topics. Let you have some fun, get some input on some things, and get our Sunday started because we know right away tomorrow's Monday and the week starts over. Big guy, what's going on, baby?
Nothing much, man. As you can see from the background, continuation from last night. Took a ride on the mothership. If you have not seen that episode, please go check it out. It is available right now on Facebook Live, YouTube, and it may still be up on Instagram. But you can go back and check that out. Get a little bit of wrestling fix. So, and of course, got to make your funk the P-Funk because I want my funk funked up. So, shout out to Parliament. How you feeling this morning?
I'm good, man. Woke up to no Sports Center, which I couldn't understand and couldn't believe. Sitting around thinking, hey, Sports Center, I can get a recap of what I missed last night, what I fell asleep on, and go from there. Yeah, no luck.
No luck. Well, we're gonna do our own bit of Sports Center, as you want to call it. Kind of try to take over for the folks. First and foremost, the boss BJ is on special assignment today. He'll be back on Thursday. This morning, Scheffler arrested.
Well, let's give it context. He was arrested on Friday before his round. Let's not say he got arrested again. We don't want that to happen. No, so yeah, Scotty Scheffler on his way into the course has an incident with the police. And in the incident, there's talk about the officer being dragged 10 yards. And it's funny because all we keep hearing now, or the spin out of the golf world, is this is the most boring guy in the sport. This is not the person you would think would be arrested. We just heard a lot of talk about how he wouldn't be the person that this happens to. And we haven't been getting too much of the details. We just read that the body camera was not activated at the time. So there are cameras across the street that might have a picture, a view of the incident. But right now, so we're left right now thinking we either have a rogue officer who was acting out, for lack of a better term, maybe doing too much in the situation, or we got a guy that just completely disobeyed the rules and wanted to do what he wanted to do because he felt entitled. But we won't get the answers to that until probably when this other camera gets leaked out and we figure out the scenario. What's up with the faces, man?
Let's get to the comments first. Matty Ice checking in from Montrose, Colorado. Good grief. Good morning, Matty. Man, is it snowing out there yet? Has it stopped? Edwin checking in. What up, fellas? What's going on, Edwin? Glad y'all could join us this morning. The faces were, you say all of that. You say the body cam wasn't working and they got video footage of all that. Edwin say, justice for sale, gentlemen. If he wasn't rich, he'd still be locked up. I agree with that. They wanted him. They could get him. And we've seen time and time again, and I'm not going to jump on the soapbox. I'm not going to be all political. We've seen time and time again where the body cam was not working. And it's always something. But it's always the body cam's not working when the alleged suspect, I'll say alleged suspect, is actually innocent. So I think he'll pull an Andy Dufresne and come out on the other side of this clean as the Board of Health. And he won't have to crawl through 5 football fields of stinking, foul-smelling shit. Andy Dufresne, he'll be good.
Well, it looks like, of course, the cop was taken to the hospital for abrasions to his left wrist and knee. I don't know why they keep bringing up the fact that his pants were damaged beyond repair. These must be the best police pants I've ever seen. And the fact we keep bringing up that they're $80, I don't know. The thing that kind of catches me off is, and I know what it is, you talked about the money. And we got to remember who picked up Scheffler from the police station. The president of the Valhalla golf course. So let's just know that this officer is probably going to, if he's wrong, yeah, he's probably going to get some of the worst duties known to man. He might be a traffic cop or under some bridge that always gets smoke or whatever. He might be doing some dog dirt work here the next couple of weeks. So that's going to tell us the whole story also, is what he's assigned to going forward. But like I said in my post, privilege has privileges, man. And when you get to sit in jail for 2 hours for reckless driving and let's get the list of the charges here. Reckless driving, criminal mischief, disregarding traffic signals from an officer. And then I guess they're saying there's an assault charge, a second-degree assault of a police officer. Yeah, that sounds about right. 2 hours in the can. No problem.
Couple comments. Matty Ice said, no snow here, but the mountain caps still have snow on them. Picks, please. Matty also says, my guess is a bit of both. He probably had no clue the backup was for a fatality.
Right.
But the cops told him to stop, and he ignored the request. Edwin says the color of his skin is also a factor. He obviously drug the cop down the road. Here's the thing. Now, this is not a security guard. We're talking police officer.
Right.
Now, I thought across the country, number one, I thought your body cam is supposed to be activated at all times, so such things does not happen. Now, if they're saying that one police officer told him one thing and another one comes in and tells him something different, there's a confusion there. And you know, some of us have been in that situation where one police officer tells you, okay, you good to go. You can go here and turn around. The other one's like, no, you stay right here. And the other one's like, no, he can go turn around. And they button heads and you're like, all right, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Right.
Okay. The other thing is, he better be glad he wasn't 2 counties south there clean his goddamn clock. I swear. He better be glad he wasn't in Virginia for that. Because Virginia, just the reckless driving alone, that's 30 days in jail. Automatically. You know? I think we won't have any type of answers until the video footage is released. And once the video footage is released, don't know if it's going to be Scheffler. Don't know if it's going to be the police. But somebody's going to look really, really bad and really, really stupid once this comes out. And it's going to be like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's going to happen is it all could have been avoided. And I think, in my honest opinion, I wasn't there, so I can't tell you, but I think the situation was escalated unnecessarily by the second officer. Edwin says they have the footage. This is the PGA saving the face of golf. He just got the green jacket. Yeah, he did. What was that? A week or two ago? He just won the Masters. So yeah, if there is footage and it makes him look in any negative light, I think the footage will go away. But I don't know.
And sticking to golf, real quick, I know Tiger missed the cut. I'm going to keep saying this till I turn blue in the face. Tiger got to come off some of that weight, man. If that leg isn't holding up, you got to come off. You got to make it easier for your body. You can't be looking like a middle linebacker. Shrink down to a strong safety, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to be that big and that's swole up. as my boy would say. Don't get swole up. I think Tiger needs to drop 10 to 15 pounds, and I think his game will will appreciate him for it.
Agreed. I mean, he does military workouts.
Yeah, he ain't got to put his bike through all that no more, man.
Moving over to the NBA, we got 2 game 7s today, but how do we get to 1 game 7 on Thursday after we went off the air? The Timberwolves 115, Nuggets 70. They forced a game 7. Midnight Rider, let me ask you a big question. They say the Nuggets walked off, Jokic and all those guys walked off the floor with like 12, 13 seconds left. Nobody batted an eye. But if that was LBJ, oh, he's just such a sore loser, and everybody would have lost their mind. Do you think that is true?
Oh, easily. I mean, the sport knows who they want to protect and who they don't want to protect. The media has their favorites, and when their favorites does something, they don't address it. They act like it didn't happen. And when it's somebody that they want to have a controversy or they want to like build a case against, they always bring up every little thing. It's amazing to me. And somehow these are the same people that act like there's no bias and when they cover stuff. There's complete bias. You know, they do this based on their feelings about someone. These awards that are given out, some of these awards are given out based on their bias and based on who they want to have the award, not sometimes on the merits. I mean, that's how else do you explain two MVPs for Steve Nash? Just saying.
Back to golf real quick. These courses make millions off these tournaments. They not trying to have any negative press. That's what Edwin said, and I agree with that. And Matty Ice, I got it. Thank you. I will be into that. I love picks from parks all around the country. It's beautiful, especially when I see Matt's. I think he's a road warrior like me. Just traveling all different places. Just road warriors. Edwin always also says bias is correct, and it is. But the Wolves forced a game 7 behind. Let me see what these players' stats looking like. Man. Anthony Edwards 27-4. Jaden McDaniels, I'm about to call him Jaden Daniels. Damn. Jaden McDaniels gave you 21. Karl Anthony Towns gave you a double, 10 and 13. I think he needs to be a 20-10 man on a nightly basis. Gobert 8 and 14. Conley gave you 13. Reed gave you 10 and 11. And you know, it got done. On the Nuggets side, Aaron Gordon gave you 12 and 8. The Joker gave you 22 and 9. Jamal Murray 10 and 2. And that's all their players in double figures. So game 7, if I'm not mistaken, is tomorrow night. Let me double check. Make sure here. Come on, get me down here. Game 7. Yeah, game 7 is today at 8. We got 3 game 7s today.
No, you got
2 games. I'm 2 game 7. I'm sorry. Because Dallas won last night.
Right.
And speaking of which, Dallas, with an improbable win, they beat the OKC Thunder, like I said was going to happen. They came from behind to win this game and won it 117 to 116. For the Mavericks, Jones gave you 22. Gafford, your man Doritos, gave you 10 and 7. Luka gave you 29 and 10. Kyrie gave you 22. Lively gave you 12 and 15. For the Thunder in this closeout game, Williams gave you 22, 11 from Dort, 21 from Holmgren. SGA gave you 36 and 8. 11 from Joe. And that's all their players in double figures. Not sad to see the OKC Thunder lose this because they're a young team and they'll be back next year. And when they come back next year, you better hold on to your hats because they're going to go far. The other game 7 is Knicks versus Pacers, which is in New York. The Pacers won 116-103 on Friday night. For the Pacers, Siakam gave him 25 and 7. Turner gave him 17. Nembhard gave him 15. Halliburton gave him 15. Toppin gave him 11. McConnell gave up 15. For the Knicks, 17 from DiVincenzo, 31 from Brunson. McBride gave you 20. Burks 11. I can't never pronounce his kid's name right. Achawa.
Precious
gave you 12. So we back at the Mecca of basketball today for game 7. And that is at 3:30. So settle in for that. We'll get to it later on. Huh?
The only game 6 in that stretch that was even worth watching was the one last night with OKC. But because the Indiana game 6 to force a game 7, that was ugly. The Timberwolves Nuggets, that was ugly. I just don't get it, man. This is the playoffs. I can see a dud every now and then, but it's like now everybody gets to have a dud per series where you're blown out by 40, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, we still got tomorrow. Whereas I don't know, it just feels the game is too casual sometimes to me. In terms of like taking it personal and the scoring and how it shows. I get it's only one game. No matter, it doesn't matter if you win by 1, if you win by 41, it's still a game. But it's just mind-numbing that we have so many of these in the playoffs. And it's not like it's once a series. I mean, once one bad performance in the entire playoffs. It's like 1 or 2 for each team per series. And that's where I just don't get it. And I just don't understand. Maybe losing has become so casual because these kids get taught it's okay to lose by playing in all these tournaments that they play in AAU. So you just like, it doesn't matter.
Don't get me started. AAU.
And I didn't do to get there, try to talk bad about AAU, but it's something that we're not doing to where we're not valuing ball games. That's all.
Understand that. Edwin says Knicks and Nuggets are winners. Just my opinion, Kyrie is 1A and Luka is 1B. OKC needs a true big. And the proper pronunciation is Ochiwa.
Ochua.
Mm-hmm. Young talent. Edwin says young talent is inconsistent, and that's why you get the blowouts. That's true. That is true. And I've noticed that guys will be down by 20 at the beginning of the fourth, and nobody ever tries to rally and make a comeback. It's like, ho hum, we done. Take the starters out, sit. It's like nobody has any. Once you get down by a certain amount, I'll say about 15. And if you're down by 15 early, it's like the roar of that line, man, it's done. It's a whimper now. These guys give up.
You know what? Edwin I'm glad he made that comment, because there's another piece to this that we are forgetting. It's the way these teams score the basketball. So you score the basketball living by the 3, dying by the 3. A majority of your shots are 3-pointers. So you don't consistently score because you don't consistently hit 3-pointers. So because that's the majority of the shots you take, that determines how good you are in games, because you don't settle for 2s. You don't take the profit. Your offense is always dedicated to working to get the 3 and not just getting 2 points. But I'm glad he brought that up. That makes sense now.
Here's the thing, and this is why I said that this era of basketball would never work. It works now because we're in that era, but it would never work in other eras because you used to move the ball around and find the best shot. If the open 3 was there, you took it. But if it was a long range 2 there, you took it. Sometimes you be at the 3-point line, you get a pump fake, and they fall forward, and hey, watch the birdie. You take 2 dribbles, and you move inside the arc, and you take that long jumper, and you knock it down. Now, granted, it's not real life; it's a video game. I played against guys in NBA Live, and they would shoot threes all day long, and they would go up 15, 20. But after a while, they can't hit threes, and I would just chip away at the lead by getting them long rebounds, fast breaks, and start chipping away at the lead. By the time we finished the game, I done won the game by 40 because they shot themselves out of the game. This is the same thing that's happening now in this generation. When you're not on, you have to have a secondary mode of scoring. And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. No team has 3 levels of scoring because no team believes in it. It's either a layup or a dunk or a 3. There's no mid-range. You know, you got some of the most athletic bigs in this generation, and none of them, they can shoot threes, they can dunk, but they can barely post up, and they can't shoot an open jumper.
They can't rebound. I hate the way we rebound. We literally let the ball hit the floor, and whoever the closest person is grabs the ball off the floor after it bounces and then takes it up the court. And it's almost like on the offensive end, somebody takes a shot and you're already in retreat mode. There's nobody attacking the glass. That's why I love watching the Knicks, because DiVincenzo and Harden, those guys, they attack the glass. And the funny thing is, Harden is only 6'4", but he plays like a power forward. He gets more rebounds than their 5 does. Again, another thing that just baffles me. But hey, I'm an old man. My basketball era or the way we play basketball is way different than this.
Oh, way different. Because you talk about
and the step backs.
Oh
my gosh. How the referees don't call travel on some of the stuff I watch is mind-boggling. Like I keep hearing all about all this skill, but I don't want to be the old man shaking my fist at the clouds. But some of this ain't good basketball.
Not at all. And I'll tell you this. The amount of kids that watch this game now, and you know, kids are going to go out and imitate what they see. And me, I can't control what other kids do. I control what mine do. What you're not going to do is you're not going to go to the basketball court and run down court and hit a step back 3 on a fast break. Come on, we going home. Because obviously you've never paid attention to anything I said. Let's go. We're going home. And it's just, it's mind-blowing. But did I get to this comment? Edwin said it's hard for young talent to play defense and have good offense every game. They don't have the energy. They don't have the stamina. Antonio says, bring back the designated 3-point shooter or shooters. Not everyone should be shooting. I agree. And then you used to also have a team that was built where you had your main scorer, you had a couple of 3-point shooters, but you had defensive specialists. If one guard was killing you, you had a guy that came in there and he could strap up 1 to 3. Then you had a big that could strap up in the middle. Didn't score a lot, but could rebound and strap up the middle. That's all they was on the team for. Edwin says, yeah, they travel all the time in the NBA. Travel and carry. It's a picture of Ja Morant. He's bringing the ball up. He has the ball up here, dribbling. And I'm like, why is the ball so high?
We are all, this segment was brought to you by Old Man Basketball.
And Metamucil.
Oh, if you're an old man and you like to play basketball the old way, you grew up in the 90s. You grew up in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's what that whole segment was just dedicated to.
Definitely.
YouTube ruins. This is interesting.
Edwin says YouTube ruins kids' perspective of the game. I agree with that because this is a while back. I was going through a neighborhood and the dad was out there with the laptop and he had the kid running drills off of a YouTube video. But the drills were, he set up the cones. Instead of him dribbling through the cones, he was at the top and he was dribbling, step back, do it again, step back, do it again. Like, I played basketball over the years with some dudes that dribble a lot. You know, and one used to have you wanting to break people's ankles and stuff. Great, good. You do that when you're playing 33 or something like that, or you just messing around. But in a game, you do that. I've seen dudes get forearms to the face for trying to embarrass people because they want to come down, they want to dribble, and I just crossed you. Let me bring you back and cross you again. Okay, that second time you go by, somebody comes and gives you a straight forearm to the face. Now you want to fight. Okay. But it's a young kid that they were talking about. He's like one of the best middle school prospects, and he has a game like that where he come down court, he doing all this, and I'm like, but that's unnecessary movement. Where's he going? He's not going by anybody. I prefer come down, boom, boom, go to the hole. That's it. Once I get you rocking and I make that move, I'm taking off. That's it. But
here's another moment brought to you by Old Man Basketball and Madam Yusul.
Edwin say they don't have discipline to do both. Everybody wants to get theirs. That's exactly right. Antonio Boone, another one. NBA selling offense. That true. Defense is not sexy anymore. That's why you got young kids talking about Dennis Rodman shouldn't have been a Hall of Famer because he couldn't score. No, Dennis Rodman chose not to score. He chose to focus on defense and rebounding, and he became a rebound god. Edwin says the Nuggets will win the next 2 chips because they are a real team and have unselfish and disciplined guys. Ooh, I like it.
I still don't think they get out of it tonight, man. Maybe I just had this thing for the Timberwolves, and I've been saying Timberwolves and OKC the whole time, and they both may not even be there, but it's just something. It's just something about the Timberwolves and the way they get after it. I just think the one thing they can do is they can get past the unselfishness and the team part because you have one of the best players in the world. And he's not going to take no for an answer. Quite simple. And as long as he can hit shots, they're going to be there. He's going to be okay.
Antonio Boone put his quote in, says the Wolves. I say the T-Wolves and the Knicks.
We're doomed. We're doomed. He agrees with me. We're doomed. God dang it. Oh, because we don't agree on much. So I'm nervous now that we agree.
Sometimes when you get that synergy and you can both agree, it works. But I think the Knicks pull out this afternoon. That's at 3:30. The Timberwolves, Nuggets, and Denver is at 8. So we'll talk about what we eating for those 2 games tonight. Sound like the Midnight Rider got something over there to eat now.
Nah, I'm trying to get some ice cubes, baby.
Jumping up on this real quick. We ain't gonna spend a whole lot of time on it, but Caitlin Clark becomes like I think it was the 3rd player to score 50 and 15 in her first 3 games. I think that's what it was. She's getting abused. I'm gonna tell you that she's getting abused, and they kind of sort of tighten her up a little bit. I have no problem with it, but why is it getting? It's getting so much press, and then people are her perceived failures are being applauded, if you will. Why is that?
It's because she's got so much early on. There's a group of us that when you say the flaws or you see the problems in the game, you get called a hater. And I said to you guys before when we were talking, like, hey, she got to work on her handles. And the problem with the WNBA is there's no room for them once they finish college to the WNBA season. So she can't work on her body. She can't change anything right now. She didn't have time to. So she came in as the same product that left, that finished up at Iowa. That same body, that same everything is there. No chance to change any of that. And I think she's going to struggle because she doesn't have like elite quickness. She doesn't have this. So she has to use her skill to get her open. And I think the problem is the media jumped on her so much that, as always, it creates the vacuum of people who don't want to see her succeed. Now there's others that need her to succeed. But the factor that doesn't want her to succeed is because the overhype, the over coverage, the pedestal that she was put on, and the fact that, you know, she's almost like the Colorado version of the football. Because if you pay attention, anytime a kid transfers out of Colorado, there's always a story about the program and talking about it not working. And meanwhile, there's 10,455 kids in the transfer portal. You know what I'm saying? Last night, there was an incident in my house where I had to enter the father transfer portal because my son tried to put Chick-fil-A sauce on a steak. I'll save that for later on, but putting that out there. But no, it's really because she's been built up. Now you have, and whenever you get these people that get built up, you always have this group that they turn in just to see her fail. It's like Floyd Mayweather. Like, the reason he was so popular, he was popular because people loved him, but it was also this interest from the side that wanted to see him fall, that wanted to see him get knocked out. So they watched. So now you got both of those factors together, and you get this phenomenon that is the Caitlin Clark series. And she's going to have it for probably a year or two until we figure out if she's good or not.
But a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you know, Taurasi was hating on her and she should have never said that. You could ruin her confidence. But Taurasi, it's the same thing when you go from college to the NBA, college to the NFL. It's the same thing for the fellas. You go from high school and you're the big man on campus in high school. When you go to college, you're the low man on the totem pole because everybody else is the big man in the high school as well. So you become the top in college. And then you go to the pros. Everybody that's in the pros was top guy in college at one point in time too. They were the big man in college too. So you have to keep starting over. And I don't think it ruins her confidence. She has to, it's the next level. It's a transition. You have to transition into the next step in the next phase of your career. I think she's going to be fine. But it's just all the scrutiny. And then to hear her peers say, well, maybe she's not that good, but you have to understand what she's doing, this attention she's getting is going to wind up putting money in your pocket. Tell you something Dennis Scott said about what was that? The 94 Orlando Magic. He was like, him and Donald Rule, they had Shaq and Penny and all them young Nick Anderson. He was like, yeah, we're going to sit back. We're going to ride these young puppies. We're going to go to the championship. We're about to get money. He was like, we're going to let them do their thing. That's what you got to do. You got to sit back, let the young ones come in because they're bringing in a new era. Let them come in and let them kick down the door. And y'all just say, hey, we're going to bum rush the door. Show them how they did.
But there's still a level of athletic arrogance that you can't let that person come in and take food off your plate.
No, I'm not saying that. But with the scrutiny, let the scrutiny happen. Let all of that happen. Let the attention happen because that's bringing eyes to you as well.
Right. I don't think these young ladies did anything wrong. I think I'm 100% with them on this. Give her time. She'll be. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stop.
No, you got it. You can read.
No, go ahead. It's all you, baby.
This the People's Podcast. Not a sin to read here. Jack says, give her time. She'll be okay to have time to learn how to play with the best women in basketball. I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's like Novocaine. Give it a little time at work.
Yeah, I think the best Caitlin Clark we'll see this year is the one we see at what their season in 43 games or 41 games.
I think so.
At game 41 will be the best Caitlin Clark of 2024.
Now, mind you, she's only played 3 games,
right?
And okay.
Can you imagine the bounties? You know, Brianna Stewart got some money last night from that pick. There's bounties out there. There's a bounty for crossing her up. There's a bounty for picking her pockets. Yeah, there's some money being changed hands in the WNBA locker room.
But guess what? You know what you're getting? You're getting, now these are televised games.
Right.
And you're not getting blowouts. You're getting probably the best product that you could possibly get from the WNBA on TV. So even when, like you said, people can tune in and be like, oh, I want to see her fail. You're tuning in. People say, I want to see her do great. They're tuning in. So you got people tuning in to either see her succeed or see her fail, but you're tuning in. That's the whole point. It don't matter. The viewership has been up for the last 2 years. And I've been talking about it. I was like, the viewership for women's basketball has been up for the last 2 years and rising. Merchandise sales going through the roof. This is what you need. Now, what they have to do when that showdown comes between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, that's going to be a primetime game. That's going to be kind of sort of, I've said it before and I'll say it again. That's going to be your first matchup of Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
Well, don't give it that kind of love. But I get it. I get the concept you're going with.
Yeah, because that's what I said. That's what I said before. I said this is your Larry. This is the chance for you to have your Larry Bird and Magic Johnson on the women's side. Now, somebody posted something on Facebook, and this is, when you see certain stuff, you just gotta say, you know what? Close the phone, close the laptop. I don't want to be on the internet anymore. And somebody said that Caitlin Clark has now surpassed Larry Bird as the greatest white basketball player of all time. Before I turned my phone off and I got off the internet, I said, see, you got it wrong. Larry's not white. Larry's clear. Please stop. And I kind of closed the phone and was like, I'm done. This is it. But
that's funny you even say that, because I think if I remember the story correctly, I know you're gonna, the second I say this, you're gonna start laughing and smile. I never forget Nolan Richardson was talking at his Hall of Fame thing, and he was talking about how he was riding around somewhere, and on the radio they kept talking about this Bird guy, Bird this and Bird did that, and I think he opened up the paper and found out that Bird was white, and he still said that brother can ball or something like that. You can clean it up for me, but yeah, that's one of the things about him, and it's always part of his legacy. But back to this Caitlin Clark thing, I think we all watched the NFL schedule get released this week, and we watched the NFL do its best storytelling throughout the course of the season, and the WNBA is going to start having to do some of this, and hopefully Ion and the places that show their games start developing the stories, because you got to start building the lines and storylines to make this work even better than it's working right now. Because I've seen the games get moved. So I've seen, the Indiana Fever games get moved to bigger arenas. I know 2 Mystics games got moved to bigger arenas. So we have the opportunity for this to take off. The question is, are you going to be on board for it to take off? And are you going to help it take off?
Agreed. I don't get it, but Antonio says cocaine is a hell of a drug. Sheesh, I agree. Jack says no way Larry was great. Caitlin just started. I agree. Now Larry Bird, in my opinion, is the greatest small forward of all time. I put him in that category, and then after him is Dr. J.
So I mean, what it is you're comparing the effect that she's going to have.
Yes,
to Larry, not the
not the skill level.
Right. That's where you sometimes that gets confusing.
Right.
What you're saying is her and Reese can carry basketball or carry the WNBA into its next era as players.
Yes.
The similar effect of Magic and Bird saving the league
right.
in the NBA. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about their actual skill. We're talking about their ability to put the league on the back and carry it going forward.
Right. So, it's about saving the league, because the league's coming up, but you have to have a star or two to spearhead it. And then you have the rest of your stars to fall in line behind them and say, all right, we're going to do this. Like, they got to start doing the WNBA commercials. Like, like they did when the league first started. We got next. You saw that every third or fourth commercial on ABC. Well, no, it was on NBC at the time. So you saw that every third or fourth commercial on Saturday. You know, during basketball season, we got next. We got next. You have to start advertising the WNBA during the NBA season. So, Random Rick Reviews. What's up, fellas? What's going on? Thanks for joining us. Good to have you here. Question for the Midnight Ride, and then we'll get into the meat of this show. I'm not sure if you watched the Queen of the Ring tournament of the WWE, but a lot of people are going off because Nia Jax told Jade Cargill's daughter, "You suck. Your mom sucks."
Oh, I love that. I mean, that's part of the like heels get created because heels do heel things. You know what I'm saying? It's like what was it? MJF famously 2 years ago, like either took a sign from a kid or yelled at a kid, and like everybody was up in arms. That's kayfabe. That's selling your character. Sell the character. Nia Jax is supposed to be like there's a video of her taking this guy's hat, hitting him over the head, and then throwing it into the crowd. That's what it is. Make the world hate me. Because you know what? As much as you hate me, you still gonna come see me.
It's so bad. It's gotten to the shade room. And people in the comments on the shade room talking about, why would she say that? That's a little girl. And I said, do you realize that is kayfabe? Do you understand what kayfabe is? You have to keep up the essence of kayfabe at all times.
Right. I mean, because they do enough videos off to the side. Like you see them on their TikToks where they're actually hanging out together and they're doing all this other stuff. So you have to make you in the ring, like when you're like when these lights come down, that curtain goes up. Whoever we was hanging out as, whether I don't know what their real names are. That's one thing. Now it's time for business. The show goes on. Like I used to always bring up the dog and that coyote. When they out, they best of friends. But they punch that clock, they turn into enemies. The coyote is trying to steal the sheep, and the sheepdog is trying to protect it. And then once the shift is over, they punch out together and they put their arms around each other and go off for drinks. That's kayfabe, baby.
Exactly. Random Rick says, yeah, just being a heel, and her and Jay wrestling still kind of sucks, but think it would get better. I think Nia Jax gets a raw deal on her wrestling ability. I think the same thing about Jade, because we haven't seen Jade in a long-term match. I think the longest her matches went, a singles match to win, is maybe about 4 or 5 minutes. We haven't really seen it.
She's still raw and she has a high tendency to botch a lot. Like watching some of the women's matches, especially like the women's when they do a royal a battle royal, like the botch level is just ridiculous. And it's not just them two; it's a lot of them. And you have to structure the match down almost to where, I mean, think about it. They used to say what the 5 fingers of death when it came to John Cena, because it was like 5 moves that he always did.
Oh, the 5 moves of doom.
Yeah. And I think Cargill is one of those type of athletes that you got to limit her down to a couple moves, and then that's just her mainstay.
Random Rick says, I mean, Jade is still green. Nia is fine in the ring. Yeah.
Totally agree.
I agree. And the only way she's going to get better, experience is the greatest teacher.
Right.
And and I don't think she got all the experience that she should have gotten in AEW, but I think she's going to get it now.
And the only thing you got to worry about is there's rumors of a potential pregnancy for Bianca Belair.
Yeah, we talked about that last night.
If that's true, then that kind of hurts, because I think Bianca was the cushion to help sell Jade, because Bianca would take the bumps in most of the matches, and then she gets the hot tag and becomes the hero to save it all. So that's going to be interesting. And I thought also you kept them together, or put them together, to potentially set up a turn by one of the two on the other, and you get them as a heel run. And you have those two battling for the next 6 months in a in a set together. But that's of course down the road. But that all could get changed now because of the pending pregnancy.
That's if it's true.
Right.
So, Random Rick says, yeah, that would be a good idea. Give her a limited move set to work with. So, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that there. Now, let's jump into this. Let's move some things around here. Let's rank the top 9 defenses. Now, these 9 defenses come highly recommended, so we want to rank them. Quite possibly the best defenses in NFL history. The 76 Steelers, the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens, the 2002 Buccaneers, the 2015 Broncos, the 2013 Seahawks. Let me drop that banner off real quick so we can get that bottom. The 69 Vikings, the 69 Chiefs, and the 73 Dolphins.
All right, see this. All right, see how this is going to play out. I'm going to have the most current list. I think my 3 in this group is the 2013 Seahawks. Just because I like the Legion of Boom. I like what they stood for. My 2 is the 85 Bears. My 1, of course, is the Ravens 2000. Anytime you can go to somebody and tell them, if you give me 6 points, if you hold them to 6, all I do is need you to score a touchdown. And sometimes that defense scored the touchdown. A defense that I thought should have gotten some love on this list. I think it's the 2005 Bears or the Bears team that went to the Super Bowl. With Rex Grossman and played. Who did they play? The Colts.
The Colts.
I thought that defense should have gotten some love on this list because anytime you take Rex Grossman to the Super Bowl, and Rex is my guy. I love Rex. I'm probably the biggest Rex fan in the world, next to Mama Grossman and Daddy Grossman. But yeah, I think I got 2000 Ravens 1, 85 Bears, and then the 13 Seahawks. Now for the guy with the list of lists. Go ahead, KG.
Now, hold on. You know, I love to do comments before I get in there. Random Rick says, I only watched a bit of the NFL in the 80s, so going with the Bears, LOL. Can't go wrong with that.
Not at all.
Jack checking in. How can you not have the 85 Bears in that list? Mike Singletary, one of the greatest linebackers to ever play.
They were my number 2.
Number 3, the 69 Chiefs. Because you had
linebacker core.
Yeah, you had one of the greatest linebacking cores ever assembled, and that was an AFL linebacker. Shout out to Lloyd Wells for finding a lot of those guys at HBCUs and pipeline and small colleges and things. Number 2 is the 2000 Ravens. I watched that team from beginning to end. But before that team was fully put together, I knew they were something special playing Madden 2000. Now, that was a 99 team, and I was like, who is this cat Ray Lewis, and why is he so strong, and why can't I run against the Ravens? Because at that time, I was playing with Jacksonville, so I had to play the Ravens twice, so I was real familiar with that defense.
I got you.
Number 1 has got to be the 85 Bears, because you had, not only did you have Mike Singletary, you had Wilbur Marshall, you had Richard Dent, Refrigerator Perry, you had Dave Durrison in the back. Man, you had such that 46 defense, the defensive scheme alone. People still run variations of the 46 almost 40 years later. That's a scary defense because if you blocked everybody, there was always going to be somebody that got free. I will say that. Random Rick says, I used the Bears on Tecmo Bowl. I did too. I did too. I loved it. Jack says Ray was the truth. Yeah, he was. I always consider Ray Lewis, then Mike Singletary. Well, no. Do I got it? Ray Lewis, Mike Singletary? No, I don't. I think Mike Singletary is in my top 5. But Ray Lewis is quite possibly the greatest middle linebacker to ever play. And what's crazy, I want to say it was 2001, or maybe it was 2001 or 2002. Mike Singletary was the linebackers coach. And when he took over, they were already ferocious. And remember, they lost a lot of people after 2000. The story goes, Mike Singletary was on the practice field and they were doing goal line defense. And the defense stood up and stopped the offense 4 straight times with ease. They said Mike Singletary was standing underneath the goalpost and he had tears coming out of his eyes because it was just that great of how that defense played as one. I can't disagree. Now, if you had to go 4 through 6, what you got?
76 Steelers.
Okay.
69 Chiefs.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 02 Bucks because I love the way they would be the last ones on the list. They'd be the bottom.
Well, I got 76 Steelers, 73 Dolphins, 02 Bucks.
Okay.
Now, mind you, every team on this list except for the 69 Vikings were Super Bowl winners. So you got 8 Super Bowl winners on this. The Bucks and the Vikings and the Chiefs played each other in Super Bowl 4. That was the last AFL versus NFL game. So that was pretty daggone decent. But the 2013 Seahawks, pretty good. And I'll put the 2015 Broncos last, but I wasn't. If you want to break it down to NFL history, these other teams come ahead of that 2015 and that 2013 Broncos team. So, that's just me.
Let me ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
You can take that out. 91 Redskins defense.
Mm-hmm.
Where would it be in the top 9? Is it the top 10? Because that defense had like one of the highest, if not the highest, turnover rate.
Yeah, and their ratio was I think they were like plus 20 something
ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think they would be number 10. And if you want to put it into perspective, I would put them over the 69 Vikings.
And do you think it's because there's no? Because it sounds like whenever it comes to Washington, because they don't have that dominant. Like, it kills me at times when we talk about team and building a team, but then when you have a team, you don't recognize the team.
Right.
So like teams like the 05 Pistons don't get the same love that other teams would get because there was no star. They didn't have that person there to carry them. You know what I'm saying? It was a collective. And sometimes it amazes me that we preach team, but we don't appreciate and recognize team. So that's where it bothers me a little bit.
See, that's the thing. If you look at this list, you can tell who the guy was on every team. Ray was the guy in the 2000s. Mike Singletary was 85. 2000 Bucks, you could either go Warren Sapp or Derek Brooks. 69 Chiefs, Alan Page, Paul Krause, and
you mean Vikings?
Vikings. I'm sorry, Vikings. You got so many guys. You can look at the guy, but like you said, when it comes to Washington, we never had a guy. So it happens that they get left off the list, and I'm not mad about it. It's okay. So, but I think they would be number 10 on this list. They not ranking 10, but they would be the 10th team. If I had to add a 10th team, they would be the 10th team.
Cool.
All right, we come to that part of the show. We got 2 game 7s today. Go ahead.
Before we get to the game, what you're eating. I don't know if you got time to throw this up, but the monetization of viewership. There was an article that came out this week where it talks about for this year, if you have the NFL package on YouTube TV, you do the what is it, the Sunday ticket, you do Paramount, Netflix, what I'm missing, Peacock, Amazon, and it was something else. By the time you get finished and you had all those things, it would cost you almost $800 to watch the NFL next season. That's scary.
Yes.
And I know a lot of us are cutting the cord, and we don't all have the cable. By situation, I don't have cable. I have a stream system that I use. I use Sling. I have the orange and blue package, and I still miss out on certain stuff. Like I don't have the ABC, so I have to use my ESPN3 to get any kind of ABC products or games, and then I have to use Paramount for my CBS stuff. So it's like it's starting to become expensive to view these games, but that's where we're going. That's the way of the world. So you gotta be ready. I mean, just think about it. The NBA just went and sold its rights to NBC. And I know there are people that have been in the chat. I know you personally. I know myself. We know that TNT does a great job and has a great product. And we're going to miss out on inside the NBA for this. But change happens. And we just got to be ready for that change sometimes.
Here's the thing. When you talk about change, and change is constant. But when you talk about change and you talk about the consumer being everybody watching, everybody listening, myself, you, everybody, we're the consumer.
Right.
When you start alienating the consumer with your change, you're going to lose the consumer.
But when the consumer that you're alienating is outside of your area of concern, like we got to think about it. When we pull up the age groups, we no longer in those first through. Well, you might be hanging on to the third of those age groups. I'm outside of it. I'm in the fourth. You know what I'm saying? At 48, I'm in that 45 plus range. So my viewership is not the one that they're targeting. I'm gonna be a fan, or I'm gonna be lost as a fan. They're trying to gain and keep the younger fan who doesn't consume sports like we consume sports also. And that's another thing that's different now is the consumption of sports is totally different from when you and I, were watching our shows and watching TV and coming up. So with that change and with that difference, the sports themselves have to adjust and adapt. And then they also have to survive because they're going to come to a point where since I have so much access and such a great product at home, am I going to really invest in going to the stadium? So now they have to kind of offset maybe some lost revenue in attendance because now the fan will rather sit at home and watch Red Zone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Have their two computers up where their fantasy teams and watch their fantasy teams play, or watch their bets go through and there's a better experience for them at home than it is at the stadium. That's what they're combating right now. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to bring you down.
No, it's okay, but I guess I didn't want to recognize the inevitability of TNT losing the NBA. But
right.
They in the NFL and NBA, they don't care about us as fans. It's all about how much money they can put in their pockets. So, but I'm not gonna get on that soapbox.
Okay.
Jack says Skins had Wilbur Marshall. They did. They had Charles Mann as well.
I think in that group, that team, what was it? It was a stat I used to always bring up because I used to know that defense off the top of my head. Kurt Gouveia, Andre Collins, Darryl Green. I think that's it. Oh, and Charles Mann. Those are the only players that were drafted by that team. They had picked up Fred Stokes, who was the left end via free agency. There was Irk Williams, free agent. Tim Johnson, free agent. Alvoy Mays was a free agent. Matt Millen, free agent. Wilbur, free agent. Who's the other linebacker I'm missing? I already said Andre Collins. That's it. Mm-hmm. Corners, I already took care of. Oh, Danny Copeland and Brad Edwards, all free agents.
Danny Copeland and Brad Edwards, those are my guys. I said something a while back. People said, you crazy. We had Area 51, didn't play together long enough. We haven't had a safety combo like Danny Copeland and Brad Edwards since Danny Copeland and Brad Edwards.
And you know, the one thing I always remember about Danny Copeland is the Cowboys game at RFK where he recovers the fumble in the end zone and comes out of the end zone, standing at midfield with the football. The referees are still going through the bodies, trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And he's standing there with the football like, guys, what are we doing? And he runs back to the end zone to stand in the end zone to let them know, hey, touchdown. And then they finally call it. That's still one of my favorite Danny Copeland moments.
You forgot Monty Coleman, drafted by Washington as well.
I was trying to think starters. Monty was more like a special teamer.
I could have thought Monty.
But okay. I mean, there we go. Put another shrimp on the Barbie, baby.
And
now you thinking.
Yeah, because now Dexter Manley was pre 91. He was already gone.
He was gone.
Now before all that came out, Dexter Manley was the guy. Like he was giving you 14, 15 sacks a year, which in turn made Charles Mann give you 14 sacks a year.
I think the only issue Dexter had was his suspensions.
Yeah. 2-time Super Bowl champ. He was on his way to being a Hall of Famer.
That's an Eric Wheeler argument because how we long a Hall of Famer and Dexter not, but that's a conversation for another day and another time.
All field problems. But we got 2 Game 7s today. What you guys eating?
I gotta tell you guys, man, I'm gonna apologize right now. I haven't been myself the last probably 3 or 4 weeks. I think today is real simple. I think we're doing burgers. The kid did a great steak yesterday. Oh my gosh. The same steak that, and let's go back and revisit this. Let's do it. What you eating? Last night we had 2 steaks. We had cooked them in the oven. We had let them sit in the marinade all night. Put them on a pan. Put them in the oven. Boom. Come out. I got butter because I was like, let's give it another 2 minutes. So I put butter on the top of both of them. So the butter and I cut them, put slits in them, so the butter could drop down into the cracks and the crevices. Boom, steak comes out. Boom, steak goes on the plate. I take the extra juice in the pan, drizzle it all over the steak. So now you don't need like A1 or none of that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he grabs the Chick-fil-A sauce. Yeah. And he comes walking towards the plate. And I was like, what are you doing? And I proceeded to tell him, no. I used some choice words. I said, you will not be not while I'm black, you will not be putting Chick-fil-A sauce on a steak I cook and I pay for it. And I turned him around, sent him back in to the refrigerator. He came, sat down with a steak. I came down here, watched some TV, eat my steak in peace. I heard him make a move towards the kitchen. I stood in the kitchen because I knew he was still eating the steak, and I patted him down because I wanted to make sure there was no way Chick-fil-A sauce was ever seeing my steak. So yeah, last night I entered the father transfer portal. No way a kid of mine is putting Chick-fil-A sauce on a steak.
The wife said from the kitchen he wasn't aquatic enough. That's all.
I don't know. You know what? Later on today, I'm gonna hit him with it. I'm gonna give him your faults as a son are my failures as a father.
She said, "Give him a pass one time."
I don't know. We'll see. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna have a steak tonight.
She said she'll trade you a pass for some rolls.
I mean, come on, you gotta play fair. Of course, I'm gonna take the rolls. This is a kid that used to eat. I ate butter straight as a kid.
Yeah, I've had butter sandwiches. I've ate butter straight.
Yeah, my mom used to be, you better not be in the kitchen in the butter. I'm coming out. I got butter on my cheeks and everything. I ain't doing nothing, ma. Yeah, man.
Oh man, Jax is got to show the Mavs some love. Kyrie and Luka did something special. The young boys for OKC are coming. Yeah,
Jack, that's a great point. I mean, we kind of skipped over that a little bit, but I totally agree with you. I think, and KG said it, but I get nervous assuming. I get nervous assuming the team is going to take off because you never know what happens that next year. It could be injuries, it could be anything, and they just don't get back to that point. So I never try to assume that the team is getting back to that point. But I think OKC is in one of the best positions. And if you watch that team, you see the size at certain positions and how they are very athletic. And I think what you got to use, if you're a Wizards fan, you put that OKC roster up on your wall with the heights listed and all that stuff and where the guys came from. And that's your blueprint for how your Wizards are going to get built. So don't think like everybody. I hear people talking about the kid Dillingham from Kentucky. I think he like 6'3" and is a shooting guard. That's a kid I don't think would be on their radar. But the kid that's the 6'6" small forward or the 6'8" small forward, that's a kid that'll be on their radar. I think they're going to go to the higher part of the height scale for positions. And they're going to be long, lean defenders, guys with long wingspans and things of that nature. That's how your Wizards is going to get built. So if they draft a forward, don't get caught up in that. It's about development. Go ahead, KG. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying Jack said facts, and
yeah.
I believe that. I believe it. But I said it earlier. Dallas came from behind to win this game. OKC is young. They're hungry. You know, they'll be back. They'll be back. So I will say that. But Kyrie and Luka, let's see who they play in the conference finals, and then I'll drop a prediction because they play the Wolves. That may be a 7-game series, but they play the Nuggets, 6 at best.
I think it's 7 no matter what. But I want to see it first. But I think it's going to go 7 no matter what.
Okay. Let's see. Well, 3:30. We got Knicks Pacers, 8 o'clock. We got Nuggets T-Wolves. I think I'm going to settle in for at least a game and a half of that. So that's if the boys don't call me to get online. So as far as what I'm eating, I think I'm going to honor Coach John Thompson today because there's so much basketball on. And there's only one way you can watch basketball. You got to have your sausage sandwich. You got to put your toes in the air. So I think I'm going to have me a sausage sandwich and put my toes in the air and watch some basketball. So I'm going to honor Big John with that today.
So what kind of sausage is this that we're partaking of?
Today is just smoked sausage. Now, I really, normally when I do my sausage sandwiches, we love to get country sausage.
Okay.
You know, country smoked sausage that's in the casing. And, you know, it actually comes, when you pull one out, you pull all of them out and they all link together.
Right.
My wife likes to fry those and then she likes to steam them down a little bit. And then from there, she'll take, and she's a honey mustard fan. Me, I'm a spicy brown mustard fan. And she'll sprinkle a little mozzarella or provolone.
Okay.
You know, sprinkle that on top, let it melt a little bit. Get you a good piece of bread, some chips. You good. You know, get. I like my sausage sandwich with anything potato, whether it's a fried potato, French fries, potato chips. I don't care. That's the best
Ooh,
way to have a sausage sandwich.
that's right. I made fried potatoes last night.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm I'm,
Maybe
I'm totally different. I'm gonna tell you right now.
okay.
Whatever you about to ask me, I probably did it the totally opposite way. Go ahead.
No, that's what I want to know. I want to know, how do you fry your potatoes? Because me and my wife, we are at loggerheads frying potatoes.
I mean, this is what I do. I, of course, I let them sit in the water for a little bit. The other day I had these mini gold potatoes. So I cut them up, let them sit for a little bit, throw them in the pan, butter, pepper, um, salt. With something else I put in there. Oh, adobo. And I put the top on and I let it go for a little bit on medium till I can get them to start breaking down. Once they
Mm-hmm.
start breaking down, start chopping them up a little bit into some smaller pieces, and then I put it on low. Throw another thing of butter, give it another round of pepper on top, and then boom, I'm good to go.
Well, she wants to know, do you peel yours?
No,
My guy. See,
no.
I come from I come from a different school of fried potatoes. Because what I do is I get me, you know, 4 or 5 good fried potatoes. Then I'll get 4 or 5 more. Because I got a pan that's like this big.
Okay.
So I'm trying to fill that pan up and then fill up a smaller pan. So I can take 10 pounds of potatoes and cook them at one time. But I wash them off real good, and then I slice them.
Right.
Then I put them in the water, turn them around a little bit, get all the starch and stuff off until the water's clear. Keep draining the water, putting more on in cold water. And the whole time I got the pan heating up, I got a little oil in the pan. I drop them things in there and I let them go. I don't season them just yet.
See, I don't use any oil. I use all
Yeah,
butter.
I use a little because I got to be careful with the butter, cholesterol, and
No, I
everything.
got you. I got you.
We're getting older, so you got to watch those
Right.
type things. But I hit it with a little season oil, little pepper. Then I turn them over, and I like to get a little char on the bottom of it. So I turn them over, and I get them in there real good, and I go from there. Now, I think I've told this story several times. One summer, I lived at home with my grandmother anyway. So one summer, it was just me and her in the house. My mother was gone to work. Spent the whole summer home. My mother went to the New Market down there in Hughesville. We all went, and she got a 25-pound bag of onions and a 50-pound bag of potatoes.
Jesus Christ.
And 2 weeks, me and my grandmother punished all of it. So yeah, we were some potato eating people.
It's a lot of potatoes.
Yeah, my grandmother would get up, she would fry potatoes for breakfast. I'm like, all right, cool. We got potatoes and scrapple, potatoes and bacon, potatoes and sausage. Lunch, she'd be like, I feel like French fries. Okay. I go in there, I peel a couple of them, she cut them up. She make French fries. We got French fries for lunch. Dinner come around, I think I'll fry some more potatoes. Okay, let's do it. She'd be like, I just don't want them to go bad. I agree. They should not go bad. We were eating potatoes 3 times a day. I put on at least 20 pounds that summer in a month.
I could bet.
Yeah, I had to really work out once we got to about July. So once we hit August before school started, I had to really hit it hard to lose at least 10 of that. So some of it was natural weight because I was hitting a growth spurt, but a lot of it was them potatoes. So I come from a potato eating household.
See, we're steak and potatoes as well. And if I have my druthers, like I do most times, there's vegetables. That's just in the way. Vegetables get in the way to me.
See, the joy of being married, knowing your limitations. Because when you don't know your limitations, your wife knows your limitations. Right now, if I could, I'd get 20 pounds of potatoes right now, cut them up, and put them in 2 frying pans and start frying.
You're crazy, man.
I don't know my limitation. She does.
I mean, we're talking to a guy that ate 75 wings in a sitting. Still don't understand that.
75.
It was 85. My bad.
It was 72.
In a sitting.
It was for money.
Make that make sense.
Because it was for money.
What are we doing, dog? Whoa.
And that's $9.50 because we had an organic one last night. So that's $9.50. But you got to understand. Growing up, I had a huge appetite. Being with my godmother, and this is what I try to explain to my wife. We had pre-breakfast. Are you familiar with pre-breakfast?
I don't even eat breakfast. So
okay. see, pre-breakfast is you get up, breakfast being cooked. I got a small bowl of cereal. That's pre-breakfast. Then breakfast was the bacon, the scrambled eggs, the grits, the pancakes. That was breakfast. Then you go on and you start your day. Then you had lunch, and with lunch you had a salad. Then you had your main course. Then you had a piece of cake or something, or pie for dessert. Then you had dinner. You had your salad. You had your main course. Then you might have a second course, and then you got your you got your dessert. This is how I grew up.
Man, how you not 345 right now? I don't know.
I am 290 pounds. I've lost 40 pounds in the last 3 months.
I am this. What am I? Last weigh-in, I was 269.
But this is what I mean. This is when I say things like that. Like my mom wants to do breakfast for all the sideline junkies. When you see the amount of food that she makes, y'all can be like, I understand now.
No, I understand now. I mean, all you gotta do is tell me 70. You trying to cook 20 pounds of potatoes.
I got family to feed, man.
Okay. I mean, never mind.
My mom, she does breakfast. You have French toast, bacon, scrapple, smoked sausage, link sausage, patty sausage, fried apples, grits, cheese eggs. And she might even throw in some honey butter biscuits.
I can't come to your mother's house and eat.
All on the table.
I would offend her because I wouldn't eat that much.
You don't have to eat that much. See, she makes so much because there was so many of us and everybody likes something different.
I would offend her because I'm not a breakfast person.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
I'll be there. You let me know when.
Don't worry about it. I'll eat your scrapple. Don't worry about it. I got it.
Oh yeah, because I definitely ain't it. One thing for sure, and two things for certain. I ain't eating no scrapple.
Oh boy, you don't know what you're missing. My wife said, "Why do you need 7 different kinds of meat for breakfast?" Because that's what Sam Cooke said. He said, if I ask my woman to cook for me, she gonna cook me a dinner with 7 different kinds of meat. I love it. That's why I married her. She will make me a dinner with 7 different kinds of meat. She says, "Why do you need it?" I don't know. Sam told me I need it. I'm doing what Sam said.
Okay.
So
maybe I'll throw out some pork chops today too.
I just bought some yesterday.
I got a pack. Like that's the problem. Like once it goes in the freezer, it's out of my mind. Try some Old Bay.
He meant Old Bay.
Okay.
On those potatoes, I put that shit on every. Ooh, I ain't never thought about Old Bay on the potato.
I when I have it, I do.
Jack's on point. Rapid Scrapple is the best breakfast meat. You gut digging right. I live with that. So
when we start talking breakfast foods, I'm gonna be like that person in the middle of the ring. I'm getting beat up and I gotta make that hot tag. I'm gonna make a hot tag to Jack so he can talk breakfast for me.
Yeah, he said to me, "Now, Jack, you absolutely right. Because a good piece of scrapple, man. I think I was the only person in high school that used to go to school with scrapple sandwiches, bacon sandwich, walk out the door. Man, we talk about food. Wait, he ain't here. You scared?" Look, the phone gonna buzz in a little bit. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yes, Jack, the best. I agree. I agree. Now I'm hungry. I'm ready to go get something to eat. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. Starting off your day. Enjoy the games. Enjoy. I think we got golf on. I think soccer's on. Premier League soccer's on. We got a lot of sports on today. Jackson Kendra Soul. I love some too. I love some Scrabble.
I think I'm gonna go with Victor Hovland to win tonight for the PGA. I think Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele gonna come back to the field a little bit, and I'm gonna take my man Victor Hovland for the W. Knicks to beat the Pacers, Timberwolves to win, and another loss for the DC Defenders. And what am I missing sports wise?
I think that's it. Yeah. When we come back Tuesday, we got to talk a little boxing because we had history made last night, so we got to talk a little boxing on Tuesday.
Do we have to?
Wouldn't you want to?
I don't recognize boxing anymore, man. I don't know what it is. It disturbs my soul the way, like, knowing who I was as a kid and growing up, and their post on Facebook where it's me, this guy Tariq Austin, and somebody else. Like, we're always like, oh, don't forget this fight is coming up and this fight's coming up, and we sit there and watch. And I remember talking about Sean Porter always fighting people, like he would look in the corner because I think Sean Porter's the one that his dad was in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he fight like if he don't win, he gonna get a spanking when he get home. So yeah, but go ahead, man. Let's get out of here. We can say the rest of this for the after show.
Jack says, "Great show, fellas. Keep up the good work." And there's some young great fighters out there. It's a new day. It is. Just ain't in the heavyweight division. But we gotta get up out of here. We don't do no overtime, even though we did something today. See y'all on Tuesday. We out.